So I get to this event and there's a cool lady at the front and her name's Elizabeth. She asked me to sign in, and when I came in, I just found a spot to sit, and there was this gentleman sitting on a chair, and the rest of the group were sitting on the floor. But it was kind of an uncomfortable environment to be sitting in. So when I sat next to him, we made brief conversation, and he said that the gal who checked him in is his daughter, and that she'd been through the entire program and that she lived in Texas, and I thought that was super cool. So I had a little bit of context to go by. I knew what the program was, and I knew what it would mean to have been or have lived in Texas. So that was interesting. So as I was sitting next to this guy, I remember thinking that he looked an awful lot like a vocal instructor that I had at McNally Smith, and thinking to myself that he could be related, that they looked enough alike to where what are the chances that this guy, this random person, would know my vocal instructor, or let alone be related to him? But you know what? I just thought about it. So when the event began, Faith and Rick talked about when Faith was kicked off a horse and nearly paralyzed. And so one volunteer raised her hand and talked about how her neck and her jaw was hurting. And Faith asked a few questions about her childhood and her parents. And this woman was pretty vulnerable about answering some questions, but pretty smiley, so it looked as though she may be holding back a little bit of information just to even help herself out in the healing process. But as some questions were answered and asked, this woman said that she had felt better because she could express a little bit more about her childhood, and how when her mom and dad used to fight, she really didn't like that. She didn't like conflict, so she really didn't engage in it as an adult. But her mind kept telling her that it's healthy and that it's fine to have conflict, but she still wasn't really facing that, or it wasn't a part of her, life, really, that she wasn't really doing much of that, really facing those obstacles of conflict. So the fact that she felt better when Faith had said, you can now stand in your own power and see that sadness is not a bad thing. That was really cool. It didn't take very long, but it was very sweet to watch that process unfold. There was a break when everybody got to stand up and stretch a little and use the bathroom. And so the gal who was at the front, who had checked me in, Elizabeth, very cool lady, at the intermission. So I asked Elizabeth about her experience on the ranch, and I said, so how long were you there? And she was very sweet and expressed to me that she went through the full program, and that she was doing eye readings and body electronics, and her experience seemed vast and very cool. So we talked for a sec about that, and then I told her that I knew someone who was on the ranch, and I said, do you know Brian? And she said, yeah, I've worked with him and he's a really great guy. And she said, I know his son Tyler. And I thought that was super cool too. And she said that she has spent some time with Tyler recently, which was also very cool. And then I said, oh, so you must know Malamanya then, and you should come. They're playing on Saturday. And she said that she was helping out Faith with a bunch of stuff, so she couldn't make it on Saturday, but she wanted to know more about the band. And I described them a little, and I said I just love their musicality, and she said, I love music. My dad loves music. She said, I love music, and my dad loves music, and I'm a musician, and my dad's a musician. And I said, do you play in a band? She said no, but she says she plays with their dad sometimes, and something about a church, and I felt like the whole thing was kind of fuzzy. But then I remembered the guy that I was sitting next to. So as this woman's telling me that her dad's a musician and that he's here tonight, I just, was thinking about it, and I was like, what's his name? And she goes, Steve. And I thought, no way. And I kind of just freaked out. Just a temporary freak out. It felt kind of big at the second. And I said, no way. No way. No way. I was really excited. I was really freaking out. And she said, yes. And I said, he was my vocal instructor. She said, yeah, he was my vocal instructor too. I said, but I went to McNally Smith. And she goes, me too. She asked me what year I graduated. I said, I graduated in 2005. She goes, I graduated in 2009. Just like cool, weird coincidence. What the fuck, actually. So then, I just did this mini freak out, and I was very excited about it, and we were just kind of in awe of how small the world is. Okay, so then, so after we've officially established that Steve Faison, my former voice instructor, is in the room, in the facility with me, with us at this event, just a bananas coincidence, he rolls around the corner and I lock eyes and I get to say, Steve fucking Faison, what is up? And suddenly I froze. Like, all of a sudden I didn't know what to say or how to express how we knew each other, or how to express how our time was together, because he had seen so many students and seen so many students graduate, etc. And so I started rattling off some songs and was just sort of saying, okay, well, I remember that Norah Jones was really big at the time, and I remember that you used to play on West 7th Street, and he named Shamrocks. So just, we're piecing things together, right? So even though we knew each other and had spent time together at one point, 2005. It was 2005, but we were piecing things together, and he said that he was on Facebook and Instagram, so I could get in touch with him, which I thought was super cool. But yeah, just super small world. And so he's going to be at this event on Saturday, which is wonderful because I'll be at the event as well. And I asked Elizabeth if she could do an eye reading for me because that's really exciting for me. And so that will take place when we find a time for that. But Steve Faison, oh my God, crazy to me. Like, I think I remember one of the first things I said to him was, while I was in school, I remember doing some recordings and wishing that I had taken them with me, because even now I don't have copies of any of those recordings that I had done during school. And I remember feeling pretty accomplished and that I had done an exceptional job. But that was just really surprising to me that went the way that it did. And when I told Faith that, yeah, I know Brian and we're good friends, she said, oh yeah, I know Brian. And that was it. It was a pretty straight face and great eye contact. No follow-up in terms of words or things that went along with what we talked about.